Hello students, this is Professor Misbah from the CAT fraternity. Architecture is a professional course which needs a basic understanding of maths, drawing, painting, and a lot of creativity. So, an aptitude test to assess your qualities in drawing, sense of proportion, aesthetic sensitivity, and sense of reasoning that are acquired over a long period of time becomes essential for the admission to architecture course. Now, getting to the topic, I am here to introduce you to a short briefing of how to ace NATA 2021. Over to the slides. NATA 2021. It is the National Aptitude Test in Architecture, an entrance test for B.Arch degree program. Today, we are at the CAT NATA Preparatory Session 5, which is Abstract Reasoning. Let us see the intent of this particular section. It is to develop creative and lateral thinking skills to solve novel problems, to test the ability to see relationships between shapes and figures, to identify rules and similarities, and to finally apply all these and identify the correct answer. Let me share a few tips and tricks to go about in this section. Break a complex pattern down and avoid distractors. Any image they give you, a sequence of images or an image, you have to look for the simpler units and first avoid all the distractors which might confuse you. And then focus on the problem and correct option will be easier to identify. The second tip will be begin with the end in mind. Most of the time, you will have to rule out the wronger options and pick the correct option. So that will help you do the answering in a faster pace. So go with the answers first and look for the progress of the question. Then you have to focus. Focus, obviously, it is needed for all the sections, but here, focusing on the minute details such that you can identify the sequence easily. The fourth tip will be practicing. So this will help you solve all the first three tips. So you have to practice a lot of problems related to this particular section beforehand. Obviously, this will improve and make you manage your time as well. And the last will be go through certain topics which I am briefing you right now. That will be regarding the shapes and the orthographic projection. Let's go into the topic. So you have learned a lot about solids. Now I am going to introduce you to a lot of solids and their names, just to brush you up with the ones you have already studied. So you obviously know what a cone is and what a cylinder is. What is the difference between the cone and a cylinder? Both have a circular base, but a cone has a pointed apex and cylinder has another circle on its top as well. Similarly, you have other solids which can be termed under pyramids and prisms. So now let's see what a pyramid is. A pyramid has a polygon base and a pointed tip. So how is it named? Based on the base, we are naming the pyramids. So the first one here is termed as the triangular pyramid, a square pyramid, a pentagonal pyramid, a hexagonal pyramid, and so on. Now, what is a prism? So prism is nothing but it has the same polygon on its top and base. So what are the different prisms? Again, based on the polygon, it is named as triangular prism, square prism, pentagonal prism, and a hexagonal prism. I'm also introducing you to a newer term, which is frustum of a cone and a pyramid. So what it is? It is when a cone or a pyramid is cut by a section and the section plane should be parallel to the base. So the top of this particular frustum and the base, both the surfaces have to be parallel to each other. Such a shape is termed as a frustum. These names will appear in your problems in your exam, but they would not have given you the image. So you should be well versed with what the particular shape is. Now again, I'm introducing you to a new set of shapes, which will be platonic solids. There are 5 platonic solids. The first one will be tetrahedron, which is made of 4 triangular faces. The second is the cube with the 6 square faces. The third will be an octahedron with 8 triangular faces. Then we have dodecahedron, which has 12 pentagon faces. Then we have the icosahedron, which is having 20 triangular faces. In the problem, they just mention you the shape name and they won't mention you, they won't give you any image. So you might get confused. So be familiar with these shapes. Now, they have asked about the nets of these platonic solids in a few papers. That is why I'm introducing this to you. A tetrahedron has a net of this shape. Similarly, for a cube, for an octahedron, for a dodecahedron, and a icosahedron. So I have seen in papers where they would give you the net and ask you what solid will be generated using this net. So you should be familiar with the names of these particular solids so that it is easy for you to identify the correct answer. Now we will see about a few solids which are generated by revolution. So the first will be, when a rectangle is rotated, you get a cylinder. Clear? And then when you rotate a right angle triangle, you get a cone. When we rotate a trapezoid, you get a truncated cone or a frustum of a cone. When a semicircle is rotated around the diameter, you get a sphere. So these also you have to be familiar with. They will ask a question from the solids of revolution as well. Now we are going to a new topic which you might not be familiar with, which is the orthographic projection. It is something similar to perspective projection, but the only difference is in orthographic projection, it is the 90-degree projection and not the one which you see through your eyes. So when you stand in front of your house and see your house, in the front elevation, you might get a clue of your side walls. But in this particular orthographic projection, the vertical faces will not be seen. So you will just draw, when the front view is asked, you will just draw the front rectangle with the door and window, and even the roof. The slope roof clue will not be given in this particular front view. It will be just shown as a rectangle on top of the rectangular wall. So that is how you represent a front view. When you want to see the top view, you will just have a rectangle and the ridge of the roof seen in the center as a line. So you won't get the clue of the slope roof here also. When you see from the right side and the left side, you will get a clue of the sloping surfaces. But still, you will not get a clue of what material it is made of. So that is how the orthographic projection works. So the similar kind will be given for different solids in your papers. You would have seen while you are going through your previous year papers. So here in this particular 3D object, the front view, what they mean is the front view, which is shown by this red arrow. It has only the pink color section of this particular solid, and you don't have any clue of the green sections of the solid since they are all at a 90-degree to the view angle of yours. So you will not be able to see all these. Sorry, it is alongside of your view angle, and you will not be able to have any clue of these sides, whereas you will be seeing only the surfaces which are at right angles to your view. So now you get the front view as such like this, side view as such like this, and the top view has no clue of the pink walls because they are along your view angle. So you will have the finally generated front view, left-hand side view, and the top view as shown in this picture. We will see a few problems so that you will have a better clarity in how to solve these problems. Okay, let me start with a basic one first. So you all will be knowing about pyramid of Cheops. Here, the pyramid is actually a square pyramid. What is a square pyramid? It has a square base and an apex. So here, out of these options, when we see, it has to have a square base. When we see from the top, we will be seeing the base, square base. So the first option is ruled out. Option A is ruled out. Now we are going to see whether these options are correct or not. There is an apex. So there should be a pointed tip, which is here in option B and C, whereas it is missing in option D. So this gets ruled out. Now we have to concentrate on option C and option B. Here, the apex is connected to the base at the vertex of the square. So here, in this particular image, the sloping side is at the center of the square and not at the vertex of the square. So this gets ruled out. And finally, we find out that option B is correct for a square pyramid. So for a square pyramid, when you see from the top, you just have a square base and the diagonals as the sloping surfaces of that particular shape. So now we have to identify the correct side view for the given 3D volume. So this side, they are asking for the this side of the volume. So one thing we can very surely give that when we are looking at this side of the shape, we will be able to see the slope. We will be able to see the slope of this particular portion. But here, it is obviously not option D or option B because they are proper rectangles. Now we have A and C. In that, A has the hexagon seen from a straight view, which is like this. So it is not possible. And now we can fix the option as option C is the correct one. Here, they may give you the side view and ask for the 3D object. So this is again, you have to come up from the answers. So the first thing, you have to have this particular, if you take this particular shape, you have a portion of a triangular portion which is on the top, which has a clear edge here, which is not seen here. The edge should be seen in this view as well, side view, but this edge is not seen in the side view. So this cannot be taken. And here, the triangular portion has the sloping side on this view. So here we don't have a sloping side, and so the option C can be rejected. Now the option D again has a sloping side on the back. So you have to have another sloping side if we are going with the option D. So finally, we can come to this option B and check whether it is correct. Here, this particular slope is shown here as a rectangle. And here it has a continuity. There is a continuity in the solid, and we don't have any breaks or ridges as shown in this side view. So we can go with this option as the correct one. Now, this is one tricky problem where they will give you if two hexagonal prisms are intersected at right angles to each other, what will be the intersected solid which is formed by intersection of these two hexagonal prisms? And the solid has how many sides or surfaces, they are asking. So now we have to closely watch the intersected solid. There is one clear surface, which is vertical one, which is the first surface. The second surface will be the sloping surface of the hexagonal prism, which is standing upright. So here there is one sloping side and the other sloping side towards the third. So 1, 2, and 3. Then we have on top, we have 4 and 5, which will be the sloping side of the prism, which is at right angles to the vertical prism. The horizontal prism is having the sides as 4 and 5. Now we have to have the hidden part of the solid as well. We have to count those images also. So back of the 1, we have 6. Back of the 2 and 3, we have 7 and 8. And at the bottom, we have 9 and 10 for 4 and 5. So finally, we can count it as 10 surfaces for that particular intersected solid. And we can go with the option 10 sides. Now, this is one example which might be asked, which is a mirror image of the existing figure. So now, looking at the options closely, here there are not that much of a big void in this particular image. But here in this image, we have a big void here. There is another big void here in this image. And there is another void here in this image. So we will closely watch the answers. So looking at this first image, there should be a cross line here, which is missing. So we can rule out the option A. Here, there is a bigger void in option C, which doesn't have the cross member again here. So we can rule out the option C. And next, we can see the option D closely, such that there is another big void here, which doesn't have another cross member here. So we can rule out the option D. And finally check with this so that option B can be the final answer. Yes, let us move to the FAQs. Normally, students get this one common doubt that the topics like inductive reasoning, diagrammatic reasoning, and abstract reasoning are almost same. So actually they have areas that overlap, but still here in this abstract reasoning, we will be concentrating more on the ability to see relationships between shapes and figures and to identify the rules and similarities between them. So these topics will be covered in this particular section. And though it is a bit confusing, you just have to follow the similar rules. So you can attend it as well. What sort of a preparation will help in attending this section? So as I already told you, practice will help you a lot. Understanding the properties of shapes and the different types of shapes will always help you. Work from the behind means coming up from the answers and ruling out the wrong ones and picking the correct one will always help in this section. And of course, a lot of focus is needed to attend this section. With this, we are coming to the end of session 5. To improve your knowledge on the art movements and the history of art and architecture, do attend our part 6 session, which is art movement and history. Thank you, students. All the very best for your NATA.